hello to each and everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Apa kabar, people? How are all of you? Salamat pagi, salamat malam, salamat sore. Magandang umaga, magandang hapon at magandang gabi po sa inyong lahat. Guys, we are here once again to do another reaction, and this is requested by at least one of you guys, and this is Indonesia versus the Philippines. 10 biggest differences. I personally know a lot of Indonesia. I have reacted to a lot of Indonesian artists and people really, and they are nothing but great. And as a Filipino myself who lives in the Philippines, I have nothing but also good things to say about my fellow countrymen. And I do believe personally I do believe that Filipinos and Indonesians are really we have a strong bond, a strong connection, that we somewhat look at each other as brothers and sisters, as we should, with any other country. But specifically when it comes to Indonesian, we have our hearts are very warm to them, and we are very warm people, as you guys know, right? But hey, this is uploaded by just one the go. I do hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, and I do hope he does not mind us reacting to this one. And yes, let's go check this one out. What are really the 10 biggest differences of Indonesia and the Philippines? I am curious as well, because personally I have not gone to Indonesia, but that's on my list. Don't you worry, we're going to get there soon. Okay, so Indonesia versus the Philippines, the 10 big difference. What am I saying, man? So without any delay, let's go ahead and check this one out. 1, 2, 3, let's play this.
Whether you are soaking up the sun in Bali or strolling through the streets in Jakarta. Indonesia versus Philippines, 10 biggest differences.
Hello, Filipinos.
Indonesian Open.
I have been to Indonesia 6 times and Philippines 8 times, and these are the 10 biggest differences between the two countries in my opinion.
Okay,
1.
let's
Population. Indonesia is home to over 270 million people and is the world's largest island country.
Indonesia.
Very nice.
Whether you are soaking up the sun in Bali or strolling through the streets in Jakarta, Indonesia offers a variety of memorable experiences to any adventurous tourist. And don't forget the Komodo dragons. Just north of Indonesia lies the Philippines, an archipelago with over 115 million people. From the turquoise water of Palawan,
How can you have such a place by yourself? I don't get it.
to Bohol's chocolate hills, more tourists are beginning to unravel the hidden beauty in the Philippines. Indonesia's capital, Jakarta, is about the same size as Metro Manila in Philippines in terms of land area, but Jakarta has a few more million people though, and is considered the 4th biggest city in Asia by population after Tokyo, Seoul, and Delhi. 2. Size.
Really?
Philippines is about 6 times smaller than Indonesia. It sounds like a lot,
We're a
but
small
both
country.
countries are actually massive. Indonesia is the largest archipelago in the world to form a single state.
I'm from Indonesia.
It consists of 5 main islands and some 30
We
smaller
do
archipelagos,
look alike.
totaling
We
about
do look alike, so
18,110
much.
islands and islets, of which around 6,000 are inhabited.
Jakarta.
The Philippines is not surprisingly the 2nd largest archipelago in the world, and is made up of 7,107 islands. And the 3 major islands are known as Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao.
Visayas and Mindanao.
3. Religion. The Philippines proudly boasts to be one of
Yes,
the only
Roman
Christian
Catholic.
nations in Asia. At least 88% of the population is Christian. About 79% belong to the Catholic Church.
This is Quiapo Church here in Manila. Very beautiful.
6.5% of the population of the Philippines is Muslim as of 2020, making Islam the 2nd largest religion in the country.
Yeah, in Davao, especially in Mindanao, there's a lot of
Most Filipinos consider religion to be very important in their lives.
Welcome to the Philippines.
yes.
Plenty of religious symbols, icons, gestures, and traditions.
Yes, true. And I do believe Indonesia as well. If I'm not
87%
mistaken.
of Indonesians identified themselves as Muslim,
I love the world. I love every country.
with Sunnis at about 99%.
As we should.
7% of the population here in Indonesia are Protestants, and I stayed with a Protestant family in Kupang. Indonesia is the largest Muslim population in the country. However, Sharia law, the Islamic law, isn't implemented in all of Indonesia, where there are 6 official religions. Remember, Indonesia has more than 700 ethnic and racial groups, and the country has always been proud of its tradition of religious tolerance, and its constitution guarantees religious freedom. 4. Culture. At the end of the day, both nations are archipelagos, so they share an island lifestyle in common.
Okay guys, we're here in Coron. Right now we are at a hot spring at night.
But other than this, the cultures are extremely different.
From Philippines.
Here in the Philippines.
Hi, I'm from Jakarta, Indonesia.
And as you can see, the people are greeting you with smiles. So it's very enjoyable to be here in the capital of Indonesia.
I think
Both
Filipinos
Filipino
as well
people
do
and
greet you
Indonesian
with
people are
smiles. Okay,
extremely
there you go.
hospitable,
Indonesia.
kind and friendly and warm. They have this in common.
Yeah.
Filipinos are, however, more liberal-minded than their neighbors.
My country, Philippines.
And Filipinos are more westernized than Indonesians.
You'll be like, I managed to stay clean.
You'd be like, yeah, I managed to stay clean. Because I'm so hot.
In fact, the Philippine culture is the most westernized in Asia.
Yeah,
While
yeah,
Indonesia is perhaps
you know, because the one that were like not really colonized, but they were like kind of more present in the Philippines. The one that really kind of like influenced us a lot was during the time that there was an air base here in the Philippines. So there's a lot of like, you know, military of some sort that are, you know, are marrying other Filipinos and stuff like that, and the culture and the, you know, and what's being, you know, what's being put out there in the US, they brought some of it here in the US base, does influence in general the entire Philippines. That's why, because that's like, I think that's the last like other country that's kind of have like a strong presence in the Philippines. So I do believe that's why we are very westernized, although not as I can tell for sure that we are not westernized at all when it comes to like all of the things. But in a way, when you compare it to other Asian countries, we are kind of westernized, but not I mean, the Western are like they're just so liberated and stuff. We are not that liberated still, although we are quite liberated, but I don't think we're even halfway than that of like the Americans or like the Western countries. So yeah, and yeah, and we also do have a lot of like still up to now, since we've been colonized by like the Spaniards for quite a long time. You can still see a lot of like really Spanish influences as well. Like I do feel it's like a 50-50, if not more. We're really like Spanish influence as well. So I don't think it's very Western, but I think it's more Western than the rest of any other Asian countries. That's what I think, guys. I'm not an expert on this, so don't take my word for it.
Girlfriend, because my body is so hot.
In fact, the Philippine culture is the most westernized in Asia. While Indonesia is perhaps slightly more conservative with many things, but it's not that conservative.
Senang bertemu denganmu, Gustavo.
For men, it's common for Filipinos to go outside and walk around with no shirt on. You don't see
Yeah,
that
'cause
as
it's
much
so
with
hot.
Indonesians,
But I
especially
know
if we compare Manila and
Indonesia is
Jakarta,
as well
the
as-
two countries' capitals.
I love the Philippines. I love you, sir.
Some would say Filipinos are more open-minded.
I'm from the Philippines.
For example, Filipinos have no problems with LGBT people. While in Indonesia, it used to be that way, but now they are in general a bit more intolerant to LGBT people. Pinoy see themselves as Southeast Asian people with a heritage of Spanish culture, and they are quite proud of it.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Indonesia
saying.
rejects its Dutch heritage and tried its paradoxically best to connect its historical canon with its Hindu-Buddhist heritage.
Okay.
5. Food. Indonesian food is very spicy and aromatic. However, Indonesians seem to like to fry everything too, just like Filipinos. The Indonesian food is super fragrant and spicy. They put chili in nearly everything.
You want to try?
No, you better don't.
Nasi Padang. Spicy food.
Indonesians don't eat a lot of meat also, and it's difficult to find pork in Indonesia outside of Bali.
This is
Because
beer.
of the religion,
It's
yeah.
Indonesian beer with no alcohol, ginger, cinnamon. It's a little bit spicy, but it's really good.
Filipino cuisine, however, is more sweet and savory. And they love their roast
I think
pig,
it's more of Manila.
lechon. I've never
Yes,
seen
we
an
love our
Indonesian
lechon.
dish that looks or tastes similar to a Filipino dish, even though people say that the food can be similar in the countries. However, the two countries have one thing in common when it comes to food. They both love rice, and most people eat rice 3 times a day in both countries.
Every meal rice.
Rice is life, whether you're in Philippines or you're in Indonesia. Simple as that.
Okay,
I think
yeah, we have that
Indonesians like to
saying.
combine many spices and herbs in one dish, whereas Filipinos are content with just up to 6 kinds of species and herbs, which always include onion, garlic, and ginger. Anything higher than 6 may be considered too complicated for Filipinos. What do you guys think?
Yeah, somewhat, yes.
6
But
names. Indonesians use a mix of native names, Hindu names, and Islamic names.
Chancel.
My name is Alec Rempong.
Filipinos use mostly Western names,
I'm Jonas Benavides from Philippines.
and especially Spanish names are very common.
yeah.
So most of the Spanish names was used by Filipino people a lot. Even the surnames and the names of Filipinos here.
What is your surname?
Del Mundo.
Philippines.
Lots of Filipino surnames are Spanish.
Yeah, a lot.
I'm Shaina. Hi, everyone.
Badminton for life.
7 sports. Here the countries are quite different.
I love badminton.
Indonesia love badminton and it's the national sport in the country.
Basketball. I think
Filipinos
basketball is
love
for the
basketball and
Philippines.
play it everywhere in the streets.
Yeah.
My friend from Philippines, the tallest guy I met so far, he's really nice. What's your name?
The same.
Yeah, same,
Filipinos also love to hang out in their basketball jerseys. While this is not something
Yes.
you'll see in Indonesia to the same extent. Both countries have a big love for sport, but their favorite sports are indeed very different. Volleyball is popular in both countries. 8 languages.
Magaganda guru. Okay.
Biarkan hari-hari baik, menggalakkan hari-hari yang buruk.
Magagandang guro.
Filipinos
Okay.
and Indonesians don't speak the same language. However, there are some Filipino words that are similar or slightly similar
Yes,
with
a
Bahasa
lot.
Indonesia, like aku, which is aku, which means me.
Me.
Indonesia has about 700 languages,
I come from Indonesia.
and Philippines has
Makasih,
over 120
masama.
languages spoken.
Philippines.
Filipino, or the standardized form of Tagalog, is the national language.
Tapos na ako, mahal ko kayo.
Filipinos are
I'm
much better
done.
English speakers in general than Indonesians.
Beautiful and awesome.
Over 90 million people can speak English in the Philippines.
Yeah,
That is up
it's
to
been taught
80% of the
in
population. Although it's difficult to pinpoint an accurate number for Indonesia, it's estimated the percentage of English speakers is around 10% of Indonesia's population.
Oh,
So, where you from?
really?
Jakarta, Indonesia.
In Indonesia, they speak mainly Bahasa Indonesia,
Ada negara yang disuka?
Negara yang disuka Portugal.
I like Portugal.
Why? Cristiano Ronaldo.
and in Philippines, they speak Tagalog and English.
This is Tagaytay City.
Tagaytay.
Planking. We're actually working out right now. No time to relax in the natural pool.
9. Flights and transportation. Both Indonesia and the Philippines have plenty of international flight arrivals, so getting into the country isn't the hard part. The jeepney is not only the most common mode of public transportation in the Philippines, but also an iconic national symbol. The jeepney in the
Yeah.
Philippines came thanks to the Americans who left their surplus
Yes.
jeeps behind after World War II.
Let's go. Let's explore Manila. Tara na!
Some of the main modes of transportation in the Philippines include jeepneys, buses, tricycles, pedicabs, minibuses, rail systems,
And
taxis,
taxis.
ferries, airplanes, etc.
Traffic in Manila.
A lot of them are common also in Indonesia. Surveyed in 2023 in Indonesia, 72% of respondents use private motorcycles as their primary mode of transportation. Buses are probably
really?
the
So
most
there's a
popular
lot.
form of public transportation in Indonesia. It's a close call, but the Philippines has slightly better and more reliable flights. Once you get to one of the smaller islands, you may find that road quality is poor, so traveling overland can take longer than you think. What I mean by this is Indonesia is vaster with more islands to navigate. Getting out to the more remote destinations can be a tiring journey consisting of domestic flights, bumpy road rides, and slow road travel. Trust me, I have tried. Anyway, both countries have good transportation in general, and you can also use a variety of online apps to book your ride in the big cities in both
Yeah.
countries. Lots of good options. 10. Prices. Philippines is 17% more expensive than Indonesia. Southeast Asia is known and loved for its mega cheap prices. But which out of Indonesia and the Philippines is the cheapest? There are always tips and tricks for people to travel on a budget. And both Indonesia and the Philippines offer good budget options. On average, a week in the Philippines can cost you around $400 US.
Good. That's a lot.
So what's your name?
My name is Janine.
Janine, nice to meet you.
Whereas a week in Indonesia typically costs around $350 US. Consumer prices, including rent in the Philippines, are 12.5% higher than in Indonesia.
In Asian, there are many people.
Maybe in Manila.
In Indonesia, but different range.
When it comes to shopping malls, this goes to Philippines. You can buy and do anything under one roof. Indonesia is slowly catching up though, and it's usually a bit cheaper on the markets. Anyway, really good prices in both countries.
New York is known as the Big Apple. Jakarta is known as the Big Durian. Tell me a weird fact about Philippines.
Whether you like it or not, the Philippines, all the boys here are required to be circumcised. Not just because we're a Christian country, one of our cultures.
So guys, this is it. Do you agree or disagree with any of these?
Why?
Please comment below.
Does
Remember
some other
to subscribe
country
to Gus and the Goat.
really
See
doesn't
you guys.
need to be... That's kind of weird. Oh, this is so nice. I mean, you know, the amount of respect that he does give to both countries is amazing, and rightfully so, yes. Because, yeah, you can't really like compare two countries and really like choose who's better or who's not, because we do offer different type of like customs, traditions, like even like the views, even like the, you know, the people, in fact, and all of those things. And you can't really say that this is better than that, because it's a matter of perspective, really, and it is a matter of one's experience. So I am dying to go to Indonesia one of these days. Yeah, and I do hope in God's time, yeah. So yeah, if you have more requests, please do not hesitate to write it down on the comment section below. And if you have anything to say, just do write it down as well. And I do hope to see you all next time. You guys take care.